Alright, so George, we've been taking a very deep dive into social awareness, and I think it's also tied to relationship management. Yeah?
Absolutely.
So I think understanding, so from a very primitive level, you understanding how kids, grow up and stuff like that, and also bringing it to romantic relationships, bringing it to the workplace, bringing it to friendships. Social awareness is very, very important. And so, someone like me, what would you tell someone like me? What would you want me to understand about social awareness? Me, a Gen Z, mahali niko, doing whatever it is I'm doing. What would you want me to understand?
I'd like you to understand that it's a superpower, potential superpower. And not just social awareness, but self-awareness, emotional intelligence in general. That's self-awareness, self-management, and social awareness. It gives you a really great edge or a competitive advantage. And even if not competitive in terms of you need to be ahead of the pack, but it puts you in the game. And I can rightly say, or dare say, not having a level of emotional intelligence actually knocks you out of so many opportunities.
Okay.
And simply because there are relationships that just cannot kick off, leave alone be sustained, if you don't have some of these basic tenets. And so it's so important for you to just see what does it mean on your level. And of course, it's not to make it sound complicated. Self-awareness is basically kujijua, kujielewa, and and even along the way, people get to know what you're all about. Self-management is, I love what you talked about when we were just on the break about wielding the sword. So from a place of self-awareness, your strength, even physical strength, mental, and whatever other strength you have, but choosing not to use it to gain an undue advantage or to be an outlet for your anger or your frustrations or your displeasure. And actually using, because for us as men, we are protectors. We are created to be protectors. Choosing to use whatever we've been gifted with in terms of strength, leadership, and all that, influence for good. And of course, having the ability, so kujipima, for lack of better, so kujijua, kujipima, si lazima when you're feeling a certain way, you must release all your anger and all that energy. And of course now social awareness is so kuna kujielewa, but kuna kuelewana na watu, especially that kuelewana, understanding, seeking to understand before you are understood. That's on Covey's 7 habits. Seeking to understand these people, what is that matters for them, what is that drives them. Kuelewana means I understand you, you understand me, but I make the effort and the initiative. Kusema umekosa kuelewana, it's a common phrase.
And we'll take the context of the workplace. So I have a colleague, tumepigana, there's conflict. How does understanding look like? Ndio niseme that nimemwelewa ama yeye amenielewa. Can you sort of paint a more detailed picture?
I think that's a good one. Relationship management and understanding. Understanding is really seeing things from that person's point of view, perspective. Alex, if we had a digit, let me draw it in my finger, you tell me what you see. If we had a digit like this, can you see what I'm drawing? That's a numerical digit.
Yeah.
What digit is that?
6.
You know what, Alex? You will probably say this is a 6 until the cows come home. And I will say it's a 9. Both of us are right.
Sure.
Because it's ultimately about my point of view.
Okay.
So choosing to switch literally, not literally, metaphorically switch seats, for me to come and sit there, feel that seat, look at the room from where you are seated right now, right? Look at the environment, and then now taking the data from Alex's point of view. It takes time, it's an effort. Remember I told you relationships cost something. We've just come, we've had in the past months a customer service week activities, and one of the things I see some organizations do for customer service is they have different people change roles. A day in my seat, I've had people sit in the CEO's office, CEO go and be a receptionist, and even someone can be the askari at the door. Why? Walking a mile in the other person's shoes. So I to understand, oh my gosh, this is what this person goes through. That's where empathy is, because empathy is starting to feel what they feel. Then also starting to understand, because we are all in a chain, everybody has a role in this chain to get the whole final result done. That this person's part of the chain, this is the challenge he's having, this is the difficulty he's having.
Yeah.
And then this is how perhaps I can support them, perhaps I can empower them, and perhaps I can be able to achieve better. So empathy, it's empathy.
Is it Matthew 7 verse 7, the one that talks about, is it do not judge? Here, is it Matthew 7:7? Do not judge, for you will be judged. Because at the same extent, the
same measure
that you give is the one that's gonna be used. Still doing a study of that verse, I came across something very, very interesting. Judge, I think the closest word in English that could be the correct transliteration is the word condemn. Do not condemn, for you will be. So because it means you've seen someone's weakness, actually assuming you're the victim, umekosewa. Kusema tu kweli ni umekosewa. And so you've seen someone's weakness, someone's mistakes, but do not judge means do not use it even against them. Nikifikiria about that verse, I'm thinking about more often than not in the workplace, in romantic relationships, even in friendships. Utakosewa. You will actually even see someone's weakness, and you will even use it against them. So you start stereotyping them.
They always do this, or this is how they like to think. They think like they don't like the way they think.
Exactly. So it's a very huge responsibility, so to say. Mimi mwenyewe kuelewa that regardless of someone's weakness, regardless of someone's mistakes, it's important not to wield it against them.
Absolutely.
It's like you're now taking the so you've discovered the truth about who they are. Na sasa unaamua, let me now use this truth to put them down completely.
This, something interesting about what you just said, Alex, is that the fact that, you made reference to Christ. And God knows us more than we'll ever even know ourselves. Yet, despite, He loves us.
Yeah.
And through that He models. Because as human beings, naturally, when you find that you know someone's weakness, it's ammunition. It's dart. I have dart on you. And almost the default thing to do is like, you guys don't know. We watch vile mnamuonanga hapa. Hata hamjui. And then this, you as an individual also, you have this feeling like, you know what? This person has so much power over me. I can't raise my head. And I love what you've just talked about, the fact that it's not about having leverage over another person or power. And we have so many sad stories and cases we've seen of people trying to now use information they have about people to bring them down. So the higher level you can rise to is to choose to love, to embrace, to stand with an individual despite
their
shortcomings. Almost give someone the benefit of the doubt. Because one of the biggest challenges I've seen is that when people feel like they don't seem to be getting slack, because you guys need to give me a chance. I have changed.
Cut me some
slack. They don't seem to get that slack because there's already a stereotype or stereotypical view of who they are.
Yeah.
So it's a big issue, and in leadership, it's important to be able to work with people where they are and move along with them,
regardless of their mistakes.
And move along with them. And that's what relationship building is all about. And I love to say that relationships are not tested when things are working. Because they said relationships are tested when things are working. The greatest test of relationships is when things are just not working. In fact, I know enough examples of leaders who have chosen to walk the journey with team members who they should have released. And it's a thin line. There are times, because I think we had, say that hiring decisions need to be made quickly, but also the decisions to separate need to be made quickly. Sometimes we don't. And sometimes it may seem like a mistake, but it can pay off in the longer term, because at times we have people who are struggling, not meeting the expectation in terms of performance. There could be issues around their own personal life, etc. I know leaders who have chosen to stand with someone. We have cases of people who have been gone for rehab or gone to rehab, and they've been able to make their way through.
But that's really something that I think most organizations do not do that.
It's very difficult.
Okay, realize you have a certain shortcoming that they don't even know how to think about it. Pack. Go.
Incidentally, of all the places you would least expect, the one place which is actually very, very, all factors considered, and maybe because it's the state, civil service is one place where, super ironically, it's ironic, people have been carried, and they've been. It's a double-edged sword, because it translates to inefficiency, where you have people who are not really that good, of course, versus the corporate setting. But the civil service, you find that they will go to every extent to give you an opportunity to fix your life before they. That's something they'll go to every.
That's really ironic.
Yeah. On a personal note, like a person who is employed for the government, and I don't even think it's even a Kenya thing. I think it's across the board.
Okay.
Because there are policies and they leave those policies out. So usually, whether it means that, I mean, you know, the type of things that cause people to be transition out of organizations, whether it's absenteeism, all kinds of things, especially when you have people struggling with whether it's depression or substance abuse, etc. That's one place I'd say, despite everything we know, as an employer, there's a lot of tolerance, more tolerance you would ever imagine. You struggle to find an employer with more tolerance than the public service or civil service for struggling employees.
That's ironically beautiful. But so I'd like us to put a comma kidogo. I want to pick you up on the 5 R's. Tulisema right, leadership, right, relationship.
Yes.
What's the third?
Results. Yes. 5 levels. It's leadership by right, leadership by relationships, and then third level is results. You must have results.
Okay.
You have to produce something. Otherwise, what good are you as a leader? You can't keep those stories. You can have a bad quarter, you can have a bad even year, but eventually the board or the other kids want to see a turnaround or things moving. So results are critical. You cannot give stories. There must be results. And the tricky thing is that for results to come, you need relationships.
Yeah.
And you need to sometimes use that position that I am the leader. This is what we must do. So you can see the progression. Yeah. And it's relationships before results, not results then relationships. Let's get the goal, then we shall work on relationships first. So vile tu umesema, I think in the civil service they are more inclined towards relationships rather than results. I wouldn't say that, but because it's a very, very broad. I mean, there's so many state departments, there's so many ministries. It's huge. State.
Is there anything good that anyone can say about the government,
there's a lot of
especially
good
in terms of service?
Well, and that's what I'm saying. I'd rather not comment because it's a very large. So you have a lot of ministries, you have a lot of state departments, you have a lot of what do you call them, parastatals, and especially for those parastatals, they have a lot of very unique subcultures. If you go to, for instance, Kenya Power versus Kenya Pipeline, or they are also unique. So you can't do a one-size-fits-all comment. And the same applies for the ministries and the. Some of these, you'll be surprised, offices are very, very efficiently run.
Wow.
And because I don't do a lot of work with them, I would rather not comment. My experience with them is much more around my own, application or utilization of the services. But yes, there are a lot of positive things in the state context.
Wow.
Basically, including, of course, to talk about family, because people stay for long.
Yeah.
So because you're together for longer, as opposed to organizations with a lot of movement. Yes. So family values apply, and people are they stand with each other in the different things of life.
Wow. What's the next R after results?
So after that is reproducing. So leadership at the next level, or level 4, is you can reproduce leaders like yourself. So if you are a leader who has the right to be a leader, you have relationships, you have results. One of the things that you need to do, even when you get a promotion, is to be able to, can you get people to come and replace you? reproducing leaders, reproducing leaders.
Yeah.
That's very important,
But kuna some leaders who they want to sit on that seat until they die.
That's the thing. So that speaks into succession planning. So if you can't bring up other people, then that's a problem. It's a problem. It's a measure of leadership. It's a measure of leadership. The fifth R is respect, and I spoke about it earlier on.
Yeah.
When you're thrown head over shoulders, coach, you're the coach, and the coach is listened to because coach knows the way. They say a leader is the one who knows the way, shows the way, and goes the way. So he knows the way. He knows how to get it. So you get the respect.
And the coach is more of who they are, not what they say.
It's who they are. And then that influences what they say.
Yeah.
And they've been able to have relationships with people. They've been able to get the results. You can see.
Yeah.
And then even they have been able to come up with possibly other leaders under them.
Sure.
So it's a full spectrum.
So the ideal leader is an embodiment of the 5 R's.
Most leaders, because it's like a ladder, do not get to level 5, unfortunately. Level 5 is for the few. It's for your maybe Gandhi, Mandela. We have a few people like you'd say in corporate, few. And get to it compellingly, like universally, no one can argue. That is level 5 leader, universally respected, and but many get to level 4, which is still good, which is still great, that you can still leave an organization. Yeah, you can leave when you have systems and people to carry your vision. But the very vast majority get to 3, and some struggle to get to 3.
Results.
Yeah. And for most organizations, that's still pretty good.
Okay. Oh, wow.
Because for corporate organizations, profit organizations, that is important. We have to be able to hit our strategic focus. So, yeah. But awareness. So when we train and we coach, it's always about awareness that people understand. Yeah, and appreciate what.
Wow. Now let me ask. There's a question that is popping up. I'm trying to organize it properly. Would you advise all kinds of leaders to get to level 5? Do you think it's something that's necessary? I'm not sure if necessary is the right word to use at that point.
I would not be preoccupied with that.
Okay.
I'd be much more concerned about, are they making the progress? Are they aware, self-aware?
Okay.
Are they able to manage themselves? Are they socially aware? Are they working on relationships? Relationships is just level 2. Honestly speaking, if leaders have, because position they have, and they have relationships, and they're doing results, not every leader can do all 5 levels.
Yeah.
It's perfectly fine. In fact, if you can get more people, because your leadership is not just position. In fact, when we speak of leadership, we speak of leading yourself, leading others, leading organization. So sometimes if you have just people generally having a sense of leadership, those in positions and those who are not in positions, we lead ourselves. Kujituma, you're probably much better off. So I wouldn't be preoccupied with all these leaders, or all the leaders going to get to level 5. Not as big a worry or concern.
Nice. All right, now let's bring it to relationships management. I feel like starting with maneno tu na romantic relationships alafu tuingie kwa vitu zingine.
Yes.
Do you think kuna certain mistakes that in the context of a romantic relationship shouldn't be forgiven? Like it should just be a reason to break that relationship and just...
So it's funny because I think there's what I think as George, and then of course there are different things, including what the Bible, for instance, because I'm a Christian, says. And so maybe I could ask, how do you want me to respond? Is it based on... There's also what, say, the position for as the boy child. What is and I'm not a spokesperson of the boy child, or men would think and versus ladies think. So I'd love to know what context are we looking at it.
Let's talk about your truth
as George. So the interesting thing, and we are all broken. The world is, and humanity is broken. So there's actually no limit, unfortunately, to what people can do. And I think the history shows there's so much that has happened in terms of people hurting each other, people and people groups. You look at the world events, going on and that have gone in the past, how people have really been hurt physically and disoriented and displaced and all that. So I'm saying that in the context of literally what human beings are capable of doing to each other. There's no limit, unfortunately, of what human beings are capable of doing to each other. Negative, especially negative. But also, I want to say there's also no limit, because especially as a Christian, and we have stories of families that have had to come to terms or face to face with someone, for instance, who really hurt. In extreme cases, you've seen people who have lost their lives, and then a family, whether it's through a court process or judicial process, have to sit in the same room with, either an accused person or the person who for sure is found convicted or guilty of perpetrating that crime. And I've gone that extreme cases because that's one of the big things that people have say that this is a grievous harm or evil that has been done. But the beauty of, and of course, like you said, our Savior, Christ, modeled that he forgave even when he was on the cross. And so
even remembers it no more.
So so those families, I've seen cases of families that have actually forgiven. Yeah, it's not always on court. It's really
the
after
mistakes
years.
were very,
They
very
have
catastrophic.
They have lost their loved one, and they get to a point of forgiveness. Or you've heard of cases where someone's convicted, and then after some time, when they go, they finally meet and they apologize, and it's difficult. So, and of course, from a Christian's perspective, like the thief on the cross, that he was forgiven, and he was told, today you'll be with me in paradise. And for sure, we know he's there. And he had lived a horrible life. From what we know, he made it. He was probably among the first guys to make it.
Actually, it's said that he was the first canonized saint, Didymus.
Look at that. And so, starting from that point, there's really nothing that's beyond forgiveness in terms of the harm. There's harm that is irreversible.
Yeah.
And there's harm that will never leave you the same. So it's not a hard and fast thing that you can say, this is the place you draw the line. Every individual must make a decision about where to draw their line, what their level of tolerance is. And once that decision is made, it must be respected. You cannot force a person to relate beyond what they're capable of doing. And so one thing I can say that I've learned is that people have different limits. To answer a question, it's a difficult question, Alex. People have different limits. Your limit could be different from another partner, from your partner. And so also self-awareness to realize there's something which for you is forgivable or it's not a good thing, but we can get through it. For someone else, this is a complete deal breaker.
Wacha niongee kama Gen Z. Kama kuna kitu moja Gen Z tusema is just unforgivable. Like that is just the limit. Ni kucheat.
I feel like engaging the audience here.
Yes,
crew.
Please do.
As I sip my water, because
the kind of wisdom that some of these people have.
Really?
Unadeli nyolewa leo. Yeah, engage.
So I can only take it back. I don't know if Alex speaks for himself or he speaks for all J's. These are sample.
But personally, let me start. Yeah. Personally, inaweza kuwa ngumu sana
to get over it,
because mimi naangalia as long as it's this kind of a relationship and maybe we are not looking to evolve it to the next level of life, what for? But sasa mimi mahali niko sahi, I'm really not sure kama naweza, I'm not sure chatu niseme I'm not sure, because I'm like yes, anaweza assuming ni yeye anaweza sema how sorry they are and yenyewe, lakini there's this thing kama wanaume tunasemanga, especially as Gen Z's. Let me leave it at that. Yeah.
So I think it's we leave it open and we can see what also the audience says.
Yeah.
I mean, I've heard of cases, all kinds of interesting cases. For instance, like cheating or infidelity, where people have, because you hear, it's not along the same lines. I thought Gen Z were even have subscribed to a different whatever, but the cases,
What do you mean by a different?
or had a different set of standards. I'm not saying that they were lower or higher, just different standards.
Or
so to
different
speak.
standards.
But I've heard of cases, for instance, where someone would end up, in most cases, guys, with a child outside of the primary relationship. That's extreme, because it means there was already another intimate relationship that existed to the point of bringing forth a child, and it's an extreme betrayal. You can say betrayal or hurtful. It's a very difficult thing to take in.
Yeah.
But I've heard of cases where couples or families have been able to work through that. It's difficult. Even for me, it's a lot to take in. But I've heard and I've seen of cases where they've actually been able to work through it.
Let me give up. I think I gave this story like in off camera. George, mimi the kind of cheating it happened back then when I was stupid and young and very naive. George. Nilivunjwa roho bwana.
You don't have a spare.
What happened?
Yeah.
This is, I think, in a story I'm comfortable sharing on camera. So what happened? It's shortly after high school. Manzaidi nilikuwa nimenunua ati ring. Hey George, usinijudge bana. Hey, ring manze, umepatia dem ring. Anyway, so I was thinking it's really serious. We were in love, so time fulani tunaenda camp na church camp. hakuwa wa church.
Yeah.
So akaniambia I'd like us akaniambia I'd like us to meet. No, tulikuwa, so hiyo day ya camp tulikuwa tunaenda camp jioni, so tulikuwa tumepatana.
Yeah.
So after the camp, after meeting up, tushaanza safari ya the camp, akaniambia bebe ukifika bu nisitue, there's something I'd like us to talk about. Sema sawa. So tukakaribia hiyo place. So nikamtext nikamwambia hey, we're almost fikaing, so we can now talk. Akaniuliza ati saizi nikikuintroduce to my parents, what will you tell them? I think at that time nilikuwa about 18-19 hapo. So mimi nikafikiria this thing is getting so serious. Sasa tunakuwa serious. Sasa hadi anataka kuniintroduce kwa the parents. Mimi nikajichocha hapo manze. Mimi nilijichocha. I won't go to the details. Lakini there's this thing tunasema kusimp. Hapo nilisimp. Hiyo na nilisimp. Then response. Hell broke loose. No, simaanishi hivyo, namaanisha ati saizi ifike place yenye my parents can't provide for me, hawezi nisomesha, wewe unaweza fanya nini? I was like, God damn it.
You waited for you to be away where you are.
Alafu akaniambia na feel ni kama I deserve to be with someone mwenye anaweza provide that safety ama that insurance in case George unanijudge.
I'm empathizing.
in case things go south. Mimi nilimuuliza, so what are you trying to say? I feel like this is not working. I need someone who is more mature. Manze kwanza alisema mature. And more financially stable. Mwenye manze anaweza come through for me when push comes to shove. Sijaili hivyo. Hiyo siku nililia kwa gari hiyo campsite. Mimi nilibaki kwanza kwa bus. Alafu after that nikamua fine, it happen. So at that time sikuwa najua what exactly happened. So after 2 weeks, George, ndio ninakuja naambiwa So she came back. Ati manze, I am very sorry of what I did to you. Manze, I was so blinded. So mi nikamuuliza tu kuni what happened. Nikaniambia she met this guy at that time. I think she was 18 hivi. Yeah. Ati she met this guy who was 26 years old. Alikuwa na drive Vitz mwenye alimtongoza nini. And so ni kama the guy just wanted to lay her na akamdump. And that was it. So she was coming to apologize. Yeah. So huyo alikuwa amecheat both emotionally na physically. So I'll also give this story. I know it's very shameful, but allow me to give it. So tukapanga anafaa akuje sasa place nilikuwa naishi. Sasa tukuje tuongee. Mimi this is really shameful.
You're not proud of yourself.
Really shameful, but let me just give it's a safe space. Yeah? So tulikuwa tumesikiza, okay, the first time hiyo day tulisikizana hakukuja. So this other day mimi sikuwa najua anakuja. Alikuwa anajua kwangu. Na hiyo day George already nilikuwa nishapanga na mtu mwingine, so amekuja sasa kwa nyumba, so tuko kwenye harakati. I don't know what happened, sikufunga mlango. Nilisikia knock, alafu mlango ikajifungua akaona it's open. So acha Mungu. Mimi nilifreeze. Ati dema alikuwa. Basi nicheka nikiza. Mimi nilifreeze hata venye alienda, hata hakusema anything.
In case you're watching, are you okay now?
So after freezing, nothing even happened. After nimebaki nothing happened.
Yeah.
Like nilikuwa nimefreeze kabisa. So baadaye akanitext, akaniuliza, "Really? I thought we were trying to work things out." Nikaanza zile za, "It's not what you think." Ati if you could just forget what you saw and let's talk. Well, let's just what I've seen. Okay, I think even after that relationship, I think there is a phase that I had. Nilikuwa mtu mbaya. Unaona chinyeteria, mimi nilipato tena red-handed. Texts kwanza, nilipato red-handed. But this is what I did. Yani ali reason out na mimi. Mimi nikaona yenyewe ni msichana mzuri sana. So let me just but it happened tena. Because niliona huyu atani forgive. See, it's just reasoning out. But actually that is exactly what happens with, let me say, most men when you hawaja go through let me say this kind of a phase, self-awareness and unaona. Most men wataona ati because you have the license. She wants to understand me. She's reasoning with ataelewa tu. So it's interesting. No, I've really been, you guys have, there's a lot of perspective. It's like a social lab. But that's a whole discussion. Huh? Yeah. It's a whole discussion on relationship management. But what I'll say is I think these people have spoken very well into why are you in it. I think people have spoken about the level. What level are you in the relationship? Someone has said that it depends on how you find out. For some people it's like it's a deal breaker. Off etc. I feel it's really ultimately about, but actually this whole situation we just discussed, this is how it gets that messy. And relationship management is literally about when things are messy. It's not about when there's no drama, there are no people who are trying to come into between you, there's no financial issues, there's no one party was done something, there's no wrong, because maybe subconsciously there could be unresolved issues. Yeah. That probably that was your way of in fact, probably, I don't know, subconsciously maybe you were hitting back at the person for what they did, subconsciously. And it felt nice.
And there was some sort of whatever from that, some sort of
But yeah, that time it really felt
You know,
nice.
and but it's funny, we're laughing about this, we're chatting about this, but this is literally what's going on out here. So people are and it goes down to remember the space.
Yeah.
What is in the space which you have kept, your inner sanctum? And of course, from it comes all the issues of life. So if you are not able to, so I think probably, now that we are talking about it, probably it's better to end the relationship if you can't get past some of
So
these
forgiving doesn't necessarily
I'm not
have
saying
to
don't
mean
forgive.
back
You can forgive, but you don't have to continue the relationship. You know, it probably is better to end the relationship for the sake. And now you have to make the call.
Yeah.
For the sake of yourself as a person, especially if you're going to go down to a path of destruction and of destroying this other person, and probably for them. And if for real, because I'll say this, the people who work through these things, and get better, it's not an easy thing. I would not wish it on anybody. Any couple has had to go through that kind of thing and fix things. There's so much. It's before, trust is funny. Once it's broken, it's like a cup. It's broken. You can put the cup back together. You've seen those. In fact, there's some art pieces that are like that. I think the Japanese do that.
Yeah.
You can have a cup. All the pieces that are broken can be put back together. And there's a glue they use, but it will always be a broken. You see the cracks. It's very difficult to restore trust. Trust once broken, trust is easy to earn. It's easy to break. And sometimes easy to earn, especially if someone gives you the benefit of the doubt. But to restore, it's almost impossible.
Would you equate the breaking of trust to something like betrayal?
It is. And it's not just about betrayal. There's one actual act of letting someone out and betraying, but also the fact that they just can't feel like they can be vulnerable with you.
Yeah.
That they can trust themselves with they trust their future with you.
Sure.
Their safety, their health, their financial well-being. It's very difficult to have a relationship in such space where someone just doesn't feel secure. Remember emotional intelligence earlier we talked about the mind is
The emotion, the will.
Yeah, the will, yeah. Mind, will, emotion. We also talked about the fact that the mind is a construct of the brain, yeah?
Yeah.
But remember I told you that there's also the gut, there's the heart, there's even the pelvic intelligence. Even your intimacy, your physical sexual intimacy will be affected because you just can't completely. And I know sometimes for men, it's not a space men venture into even think about. And men are far much more affected by than women, right? Because it's a very deep betrayal. Betrayal cuts both ways. It's not that men are betrayed or feel less hurt about the betrayal. In fact, it's far much worse for men because it goes down to their masculinity. It goes back down to so many things. So you find that the awareness that these are the things at stake, this is what will be affected, is so important. I guess for those who are contemplating doing it, and when you're on the table trying to make a decision whether you're going to work through this thing, all those things are at stake. And it sometimes could be months, could be years, and could be never. You may never go back to be the same again. The quality of your conversations, the quality of your trust level, the quality of your physical, intimate relating may never go back the same again. So it's a choice you have to make. I think someone talked about the fact that how far have you gone? Are there children? Are there what? But ultimately, it's based on. That's why when you asked me the question, I said, "Are you asking me as George? Are you asking me based on the Bible? Are you asking me based on popular culture?" You have to make a distinction because the Bible is very clear.
Yeah.
And then every other person has their own standard, and they can say this is based on my Christian faith or this is based on this, and this. But it's an extremely difficult road to walk. Yeah. But I'm not saying it's impossible. And there are couples that have been able to walk through it. Yeah. Wow. But I don't wish it on an enemy.
Something like betrayal. There's a book I read earlier this year, Inferno, by Dante. Alikuwa ni describe hell having, is it 7 or 9 circles, but in the deepest pit of hell, that is where Dante placed betrayal. Because now healing, I'm rising back up from, I think that is exactly what happened to Christ. Yeah. I think every sense of betrayal,
everything that you could hold on to, you can hardly hold on to anything.
Yeah.
In fact, you doubt yourself, you doubt anything that you know, you can't hold on to.
Yeah.
So it's a very difficult
thing.
But obviously, the better thing is to be proactive and do the work before you get there. And of course, we start with relationships, but even when it comes to communities, when it comes to corporate settings, teams, employees, you want to have relationships and you want to be proactive about building them. Because when you lose them, but we said people choose that this is the day I will not work with this person.
Yeah.
This is the day I'm leaving this relationship. So you have to be conscious of that. Yeah.
The corporate structure, it's quite organized that there are certain forms of betrayal that just can't happen, because it can happen. There's a story that happened early hii mwaka. Nasikia employees waliiba stock ya kampuni, and because that is a form of betrayal. I also had someone alisema ati unaona someone who is capable of cheating in a relationship, they're also capable of betraying you in business. They're also capable of betraying you in business. So it's such a huge thing that okay, now let me ask, tuachane na romantic relationships hapo najua tunaweza kaa.
Absolutely.
Hapo hapana. Anyway, let's move to,
but you're not okay, right?
What do you mean? Yeah.
I was asking for the crew. I was asking for the crew.
No, this was back in 2017. This is 8 years ago. Yeah. So, how would you respond to a child, your child? Of course, you're trying to work on a relationship with your child. Afanye something very wachata tuwachana na watoto wadogo. We've heard of stories ati kids, watoto wanaenda wana butcher their own parents. You know, sometimes you think about such realities and you're like, how is that even possible? How is it really possible? No. So say let's wear the shoes of a parent, and assuming amekuja amefanya kitu na nimepona, you know, sijakufa. How am I to start such kind of a conversation with my kid?
Wow, what an extreme example.
It's very extreme.
But yeah, what I'm picking, and by the way, there's something called estrangement.
Estrangement, yeah.
And I think now more than ever, it's something that I have been able to see and read a bit about estrangement. So estrangement is largely some form of separation. And of course, the most common form of separation is separation between spouses or couples.
Yeah.
But there exists a separation or estrangement between children and parents. It's actually quite common for adults, children. In other words, what we are saying, I want to maybe tell you, if you throw a stone in most places, it's likely to hit somebody who is not talking to their parent for some period of time. You're not talking to your parent, you're not visiting them, you don't quite have a relationship.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And so, without going into really what you've talked about, talking about, of course, what's most common is children who don't speak to parents, but also parents who don't speak to children, especially with cases of broken families and whatnot. Someone says, my dad left us when there were X amount of years and I've not seen him, he got another family, all that kind of stuff. But estrangement as a principle, a lot of work has been done and there's research into it, is a major issue and a growing issue. As the world advances, more and more people are completely disconnected with some family members. It could be estranged to a sibling, estranged to a parent, estranged to your own child. And whilst our relationships are designed that we relate, human beings, we are relational beings, there exists that phenomena where people, for some reason or the other, just are completely broken and they don't speak. You spoke about it on the break for years. And so when you talk about relationship management, those are the kind of issues. When you talk about estrangement, it means a zero relationship management. That relationship is closed for innovation. You know what I mean? It's a wrap. It's closed for innovation or under new management. Like, it's done. And you know, I have to admit, as we talk about the things we look for in employees, things we look for in partners, things we look for in people to live in a community with, those are key metrics. Because for real, someone needs to give an account. If you date someone or end up dating someone and they don't speak, they have parents who exist and it's within their power, they don't speak to them, that's a red flag. They have a sibling, absolutely. That's a major red flag. They don't speak to such a sibling. And it's more common than you think.
Those are things that employers actually.
No, I'm
look
saying
for.
in relationships.
Okay.
As you get to know each other. Sometimes we don't ask those questions. We don't have those conversations. But in the reality, in relationships, if you could pick up early that there's someone with those kind of glaring red flags, I would pay very close attention to that. And I'm not saying that they could have been aggrieved and they could be defending themselves, but it needs some attention. Similarly, even if it's not a requirement to measure, for instance, the places I have worked and I do a lot of recruiting interviews, I like to ask questions about your personal life. Tell me about your parents, tell me about your family, tell me about church. There are a lot of things about people you can know, even in an interview, that tell you a lot about how that person deals with adversity, deals with people, deals with challenges. And I can tell you for a fact, estrangement, I would think, is a very major issue. And if there's any form of estrangement in your life, it's something you would need to pay close attention to. Because unless there's like you talk about an extreme case where your life is in danger, a parent, and I think we've learned through our African culture, whether the parent is an alcoholic or someone who is from a very poor social background. You've heard of people being embarrassed or ashamed about their family. A parent is a parent. A family member is a family member. There are people who try and shed off or cut ties with their family because of certain factors. And though you're not saying that they need to live in the house with you and you need to give all your income to them, there needs to be some level of engagement because you have a family bond, you have blood, you have all that. And we don't have enough time for this conversation, but I can tell you probably another context and setting, the estrangement conversation can be there. And so what I'll say about relationship management, because I'm conscious of time, relationship management is a key. It's like the lifeblood. If you don't have relationship management or there's some relationships that are dead and you even admit it, that's a very glaring issue about your lack of a certain muscle. Because you don't relate to family members. There are people who can hurt you beyond the way you can humanly imagine. It is family members. And if you cannot get over that, including spouses, or you can't work through some of these things, and by the way, relationships end, we talked about that, marriages end and they're dissolved. But especially for relationships or marriages where children exist, even how you relate regarding the children, especially if there's no contest as to whether the children belong to both of you, is a major marker. And I've seen families that they dissolved the marriage, they're no longer married, and maybe some have even got other relationships, but they are very clear. When it comes to the children, this is our position. You get my point? And we shall work together to make sure the children have the best possible version of each other. I'm not going to undermine your expression of being a parent, and you don't undermine my expression of being a parent. And we respect each other. We are respectful to each other overtly. We're respectful to each other even when we're not in the room. And respect should not be because you deserve or you don't deserve respect. I will respect you. You get my point? Alex, I will respect you, not because of how you conduct yourself. Sometimes you may conduct yourself badly, but respect is something I will give to you. And when I say respect, there's a certain level of respect, especially with third parties and like younger children, which is given. I think the African or traditional conventional families, fathers would drink and come home sometimes. You would not know the details. But maybe the mzee came and he was alikuwa ametingika. You know what I mean? And he said something or something. But your father is your father. I think we've lost a little bit of that. Your father is your father. You guys, your father is there na ile piece fulani ya kuku ni yake. It was not contingent on what? On his conduct. I don't get what I'm talking about with that. So that respect, that relational or relational currency, that relationship management is a major indicator. How you treat people is a reflection of you. Not that this one deserves to be treated well, this one deserves to be. It's a reflection of you.
Who you are.
Who you are as a person. People may behave, below what is expected, but respect is something you must accord. Consciously investing and choosing, I will work on this relationship, is something you must do. Yeah? And it's not contingent on the other party. However, there are people who act really poorly. And they show a pattern of behavior that you can tell. You have the right to protect yourself. You have the right to have boundaries. And that is also in the work environment, right? But you should do your work. It's a muscle. As long as we're on this side of reality, especially as Christians. Let me say, for myself, speak for myself as a Christian, for those who follow the Christian faith, but most of the religions are like that. On this side of eternity, you have to work out relationships. You must forgive and forgive and forgive 7 times 7.
And forget.
You know, and that is a marker of your emotional intelligence, lack of working it out, right? Completely say, don't talk to that person, we have zero relationship. That reflects on you more than the other person. We can go on about this for a while, but I'm conscious of time.
Okay, so all right, so we've done 4 episodes so far, and I think the heart of it was more about emotional awareness. We've talked about social awareness. We've talked about but if you were to sum it up in a few words, what's the one thing you as a coach you feel the world needs to understand more of? One thing that you as a coach, you need the world to understand more of?
I would say ultimately it is power, and the power is in choice. You will always have the power to choose. Some of the choices, as what you have sampled here, are very difficult, but the power to choose lies within me. What influences my power to choose is my internal environment. I have power over my internal environment. I must protect my internal environment. I must enrich it. I must nurture it, because that's a wellspring. That's where whatever happens, whatever is going on, it's a garden where it grows. So we may have weeds growing or some very nurturant, abundant fruit. Coaching supports you to be able to really nurture and be aware of that internal environment and make it the best possible thing it can be.
Sure.
That will help you in your work life, relationship life,
friendships, family,
every sector of society.
Wow.
So the heart of it and where the power lies in choice is in that inner sanctum of who you are. So guard it and nurture it.
Thank you so much, George. I know it's been a long time coming. But we will still build on these conversations because there's just a lot that is packed into it. But we appreciate you, the crew here as well. We truly appreciate you. Thank you for making the time. Till next time. Thank you.